The poverty trap. The mere mention of the cyclical snare and questions begin to form, each capable of inciting hours of valid debate. The two main and most basic questions are those which will be dealt with in this presentation. First, what exactly is the poverty cycle? And, even more importantly, how does one break free of it? In its most simplistic form, the poverty trap is a cycle of conditions that pit one into the station of poverty, signified by insufficient capital to support oneself and those that depend on them. Three key factors feed off one another to suck people further into the red zone: lack of education, few employment prospects, and low income. In addition to being affected by and affecting the other main aspects of the trap, low income can be a result of several other factors. Discrimination of any manner, physical location, and family commitments are among these. One is once again reminded of the cyclical nature of this travesty by the fact that each of these can also influence education and employment. Employment is the most direct influence on income, which determines one's financial status. But what affects employment rate? Physical location, discrimination, and commitments are once again factors, in addition to health status and disability. Finding work is thus inherently difficult, but finding a career that will keep one from poverty is even harder. Discrimination based on age, gender, race, religion, and national origin all negatively affect career prospects. Another factor of note is disability. Regardless of discrimination, the lack of ability to do something for whatever reason greatly reduces employment opportunity. Education is the factor that welds the circle of poverty together. If one is not well educated, it is increasingly difficult for one to find employment, which determines income. Said income fills out FAFSAs and loan application, which determines one's capability to afford their children the opportunity of an education. As indicated by this graph, a bachelor's degree nearly doubles both the salary and employment opportunities of that of a high school degree. The salary one makes increases substantially with education, but so do the costs. Tuitions and books alone are significant costs that one must be able to pay in order to achieve higher employment prospects. So how does one escape from poverty? The answer is clear: by making more money. The complications to this answer lie in the question, how does one make more money? One must find income that will cover their expenses, and to do so, one must often obtain an education which costs more money that they simply do not have. This is where outside assistance comes into play. Outside assistance can come in many forms, from programs like WIC and food stamps, which offer enough support for one to maintain. This type of assistance perpetuates the cycle by preventing needy from both failing and succeeding. Grants, loans, and educational programs help people escape the poverty trap. Only one question remains: who should be eligible for said aid and why? The question posed by this presentation calls for a multifaceted answer that can be presented and enforced simply. Such an answer has yet to be found. Great minds will need cooperation of those in need, those capable of giving assistance, and those in between to make the most unbiased programs. One thing is certain: said programs should focus on income, employment, and education.